What's up, guys? Welcome to week number 5 of off-season training. I'm happy to say that after some of the movement drills that I showed in last week's video, I have made a full recovery. Everything's feeling good, and I've significantly decreased the weight shift that I was having with my squat. Still a little bit there, but it's significantly better than it was last week, and I'm completely pain-free. Learned a ton down at the seminar this last weekend. I was down at a USPA coaching certification class, which is why there's no bench footage. It was taught by Tom DeLong, and I learned a ton that I've been able to implement both of myself and some of the lifters here at Savage with some really great success. So you'll notice, or maybe you won't, that I've brought the bar up on my back. Tom had noticed that with where I was carrying it before is contributing a lot to my starting to get leaned forward at the bottom of the squat. So we moved it up like barely a half of an inch and brought my grip in and able to get my elbows underneath the bar a lot better. It feels so much better than it felt before. So excited to keep working with this on this main squat session and keep dialing in that technique. So on this day, I was still working the cat squats. I did take a bit longer than last week just because I was really trying to focus on some of those cueing strategies that I had learned over the weekend. So all of the work sets here, the 3 at 325 and then the 3 sets of 5 at 285, I got done in about 18 minutes. It was just kind of an estimation. I also forgot to set my clock. So right around 18 minutes, which is still under the 20-minute limit that I'm trying to keep. So kept a good pace, but made the work density a kind of secondary goal to kind of really starting to dial in some of these different technical cues. So you can see though that I am staying a lot more upright, and that transition out of the bottom is a lot smoother because I'm trying to employ a technique that I learned this weekend called scooping, which is similar to Lombard's paradox, but you kind of get the elbows moving out, coming out of the bottom of the hole, and shove the hips forward. So that definitely smooths out what's typically a pretty bad sticking point for me. So after this, moved on to the deficit deadlifts. One of the things that I'm working on is getting my hips lower and not pulling before I'm actually in a good leverage position. This is something that we talked about with the biomechanics portion of the class this last weekend. And it's something that I've done better at historically, but recently I've been starting just a little bit too high with the hips, which is killing a lot of the leg drive. And with the lighter weight, I'm able to get away with it because of my just natural leverages and strong back, but it was just not an optimal starting position. So you can see as these sets progress here, I'm able to get locked in nice and tight and get a lot more drive from the hips throughout the lift. So did 3 sets of about 5. I think I might have done 6 on the last one with this is 405 on the bar, just really trying to accentuate the sitting back into the hips on the way down, which is why I'm doing these touch and go. And I'll probably keep working touch and go reps on my heavier or my Monday session, just for that very reason. Also to get a little bit more time under tension with the heavier weights. And then I'll save the dead stop reps for Thursday session when I'm working more speed in the starting position. So these ended up feeling really good. I was able to feel both glutes firing through on a lockout evenly, and didn't notice any twisting of the bar or any pulling in through my back or rotation or anything like that. So all in all, that was a pretty good session. Ended up just hitting some chin-ups for accessory work on that and shut it down, although I was happy to have knocked out a set of 20 chins. So that brings me to this. This is sped up. This was my Tuesday workout, which I'll be keeping in, working on some band marching, which should hopefully build up some strength and stability in both of the legs. I can tell you that after the 3 sets of 50 or so the marches that I did, my ass was on fire. So thank you to Chris Duffin for the idea on working this in as another form of accessory movement. Moving on to my Thursday workout, this is the secondary squat and deadlift session. I'm going to be using Hatfield Squats with the safety bar at least for the next couple of weeks. I just really want to try them out. I wasn't really what I was going to get out of them, and I really like this movement. Having the hands out in front feels very similar to when I was working the hands-free squats with this bar last year. and just keeps you in a little bit better position with your hips underneath you instead of sitting back and getting dumped forward. So I really feel all of the emphasis is placed on the legs and actually being able to drive down through the ground with the quads, which is great, which is half the reason I was front squatting before. So I'm going to keep these in and see how far I can bring my leg strength with them over the next couple of weeks. I feel, based on how the top set I hit today with 420, that hitting something around 500 for a set of 5 is not more than a week or two away. I definitely still had some left in the tank with this, so depending on how things are feeling next week, I'll either push a little bit heavier, or maybe I'll do all 3 sets with 4 plates or something like that. But just wanted to work in a new squat variation that I hadn't tried that looked interesting, and since I'm not directly training for meet right now, it really doesn't matter, so did that. After this, I worked my speed pulls with chains, which felt great. Now that I've got 2 functioning glutes again, this is one of the first sessions I've had in a while where my squats felt really balanced. You can see on this one I for sure don't have any weird weight shifting, and that knee isn't doing stupid shit to me. But the same thing was kind of happening with the deadlifts, to where they actually felt fast and aggressive for the first time in a while. Part of that's because I took notice of the position and backed off the bar a little bit so I can get my hips just a tiny bit lower, and the other half is I've got 2 glutes and 2 legs that are actually working evenly. So the sets definitely started to speed up over the course of the workout. I think we did something around 7 total sets of 3. Went with 315 on the bar, so it's a little over 50%, but it was easier math with 315. I'll probably go to like 350 or something next week. And then just each set added another pair of chains, so ended up with a top set of 315 plus 200 pounds of chain, so it's 515 at the top. And my last 2 sets, which were the heaviest, were actually my 2 fastest sets, and they felt the smoothest. So you can see as the weights get heavier, my hip height and starting position get better and better, and the weight moves even smoother. So was really happy with that. Followed with some band dumbbell good mornings, which is basically like a dumbbell RDL with a band around your neck. Did 4 sets of 10 there, which really got the glutes going, and then finished off with walking lunges, which for the very first week do not feel like a complete pile of shit. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it and subscribe to my channel. If you haven't done so already, connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. And as always, be sure to check out the gym's website at www.savagegym.com.